So pretty much trying to keep it chill. It has been an eventful and full last couple of weeks. I taught Vacation Bible School last week. That was a whole week. But before that, basically, I had some volunteers and we did the decor for Vacation Bible School. So that took a while. And so it's been a busy couple of weeks. So I'm back into the swing of things, and it's an interesting process. Yesterday, so I have some endeavors. I always have endeavors. It's just how it is. And I have ordered some new equipment that came in last week. And so I had to do some rearranging here because it wasn't that much room. Well, the way I do it is when I'm working on projects and stuff like that, I have to kind of, set up the space to where it's feasible for that, right? If you're a fellow crafter or a fellow maker, you know how that goes. I mean, unless you're just doing one thing, then it's fine. But if you're doing multiple, you have multiple passions, it can get a little tight in the space. So every so often I'm having to do a little bit of rearranging, maybe some reorganization, but not too much because I tend to keep everything organized anyway. So that wasn't too bad. So that's kind of what I've been up to. And then I have other things that I am in leadership for with church and other things. So that's been going well. I'm here today because I wanted to give y'all an update. Like I said, this is just a chill type of thing. I have a couple of endeavors that I'm aiming to do basically this week and into next. Hopefully I can finish it all this week, I don't know. But one of them is I had started work on a sweatshirt a few weeks ago, and I finished the front of it, but there's some work I want to do on the back, and that's going to use applique. So the front was primarily characters from 80s, 70s, 80s, and the back's gonna be applique, and it's still a nod to that 70s, 80s vibe. And so I'm doing applique on that with embroidery, so that's gonna be interesting. I'm marrying a couple of methods. So I'm a type of creative person that I like to do different. I like to incorporate different types of formats or substrates in the design realm. So I'm doing applique, but I'm doing applique and sublimation. So today is about getting that artwork together and beginning to prep the material. And then the new equipment I got was a screen print setup. So a few years ago, like right when the pandemic happened, but before everything was shut down and before people had to really wear masks, I went to this 2-day workshop for screen printing in the Iron District in the city, New York City. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience. Met some cool people, and learned about the whole screen printing process pretty much. And so when I had came home from that, I invested in screen printing equipment, and it was a lot. I mean, this space is fuller now. It was not as full then, but screen print setup took a lot. I had a conveyor dryer, I had a flash dryer, I had what was it? It was a four in one color. I think it was 4-in-1. Yeah, 4-in-1 color t-shirt press. I was using plastisol inks. I was burning my own screens in my bathroom, renting my screens in my bathroom, and I try to be as environmentally conscious as I can. So what I did was I basically collected my wastewater because I was using plastisol. So I would collect my wastewater and I would dispose of it a different way, not just down my toilet, down my drain, right? So, but this time when I venture into screen printing, I will be using water-based inks. I will be using my laser to burn my screens, and it's gonna be awesome because last winter I did a small collection of about, I think it was like 13 or 14 designs, and I used DTF, and DTF is cool. I like DTF. It's a little bit of wait time, and it does cut into your profits a little bit if, you know, depending on how strategic you are with, you know, your gang sheets. And, you know, if you're not working with too many pre-orders, because like you got pre-orders, right? You can have pre-orders, but at the same time, depending on the holiday, because I had did it like the week before Christmas. It's so interesting because sometimes I could try to prepare weeks in advance for a holiday. I could try, and then I will not get the perfect idea until like the week of. I could be doing research, sketching stuff, thinking about things. I could write a list. I could be like, here are the things I'm thinking about making. Here are the things I'm thinking about designing. Here are the things I'm thinking about. Maybe it was a design I did a while ago and now I need to go in there and switch it up. I'll go in there and I'll do that. I could write a whole list. And then the week of, all of a sudden I have brand new ideas. They're not the same as the ones that I had throughout the year or those weeks. And then, yeah, then I'm just like, man, why does this always happen? I mean, it's fine, I guess, because I'm still able to be creative, but it sucks because I don't have all the time to do the thing that I want to do. So, that was that. And then I have some other endeavors. Like, I want to dive more into graphic design because I'm a little rusty on that. Maybe the word rusty is not the word, but more so, it's been a long time since I've done any like true graphic design stuff. But I also need to pick something. So like this t-shirt I'm wearing here was a design I did a few years ago. And I know the other day I showed you some of my 3D printed characters. So like this is one character I did a few weeks ago. Still need to clean it up, paint it and stuff like that. But I have just, you know what I'm saying, I have a lot of different endeavors that I'm into. This little character here. So but it's just a matter of carving out the time, which I always, you know, try to attempt to do. I usually make a list of what I'm going to get into and process forward. Something's been happening interestingly the last week or two on YouTube. I've been seeing a lot of the creatives that I follow, they've been having this moment, I guess, where, I mean, the economy's tough, right? And things are tough, but it seems like there's something going on where they're coming online and they're having like these real heart-to-hearts, and they're talking about how, like, you know, there's certain things that they're neglecting or certain things that they want to achieve, and they have to, like, you know, switch up how they're going about on their channels and stuff like that. I've been seeing a lot of that in the last few weeks lately. So that's been interesting. And here I am trying to revamp, trying to do something new. So, so I told you that I have a sweatshirt that I'm finishing up, and then I have a hat that I want to do because I've done a couple of, baseball caps, soft caps type of hats, and I have some equipment I need to test out, so that's what I'm doing with that. And then the screen printing stuff. I think so that's what's going on with me. Those are my endeavors right now, on top of the other things I'm doing, which, are fine. They don't overwhelm me as much. And on top of, trying to dive in a little bit more to some graphic design stuff, because I've made, like I said, I made some designs last winter, and it was amazing. Like, just being open to inspiration is amazing. And but you gotta make the time for it a little bit, you gotta make the time for it a little bit. And one thing I did during that season was I took my time and would sit down and give like 40 minutes or so just to come up with some stuff, to do a little bit of research and to kind of sketch and design some stuff. And that was cool, and I want to continue doing that because there's more items that I want to release, and I know there's plenty more inspiration. Actually, today I was inspired like 3 times today because I was open to it, and because it was something that I desired and I wanted. So that was cool. And yeah, there's so much, there's so much, and it's amazing. What else? Excuse me. I think, actually, I'm not even sure. I want to write a children's book, and that's going to be much like the same strategy of designing, right? Or coming up with ideas. It's like doing the research, sitting down, taking some time to write things out, taking some time to explore things. I have a couple of very short stories and ideas that I've written already, but the illustration part is slow because I'm still growing in my art, and I'm still growing in the type of subject matter that I focus on. And even though I have my own style, you're still adapting it in other arenas. So as far as my characters, my 3D modeling of my characters, I kind of have my own style that I like. That's mine. But when it comes to maybe doing more so graphic design or illustration, I have to sit down and put the hours in for that as well. So I put the hours in for the sculpting. I gotta put the hours in for the other stuff, and that's really what it's about, putting in those hours, but also having fun with it, and as I always try to do, just make everything a pleasant, learning, loving, joyous experience. There's something else. The last few weeks, I have been approached by individuals regarding partnering up. And I'm not sure, honestly. I'm not sure about that because the things that I endeavor to do, my art and stuff, is like mine, I don't mind like partnering up like on a singular project. Like last summer, I partnered up with a friend, and I said to him, hey, like, he's my target audience, he's my target market, and I was like, hey, do you want to collaborate together? And majority of it was like, here's what I think, how does that look, do we switch it, and that was a really cool collaboration. And when I think of collaboration, depending on people's skill sets, a lot of times that's the most I could do because of like the skill set that's being presented. And I have a dilemma because I love to share knowledge, I love to share information, I love to assist people the best way I can because I don't know, I feel like for me a lot of it has been self-taught, self-learning, and here and there I might have found one or two people that I could pick their brains and receive like mentorship in the art or whatever, but for the most part it's been like me searching and trying to figure out stuff, you know, and then learning, finally perfecting that technique, taking the time to figure it out, and then finally perfecting whatever that technique is, and then getting out there and doing it. And so I'm always trying to kind of not have people have to do so much of that on your own searching thing. But in the last few years, it's kind of been that way. It's kind of like I'm not going to like hold your hand the whole way, because then what part of it was your thing, you know? Was it all me just guiding you? How do you make it your own, right? And that's kind of like what I'm thinking when I'm thinking about all these things I'm telling you about. And also, I'm gonna be honest, it depends on like how well I know you, you know. A lot of the approaches that I've had in the last several weeks have been people that are brand new. I don't know them that well, you know, so I'm like, I don't know who you are. I don't know, you know, your intentions. I don't know where you came from, you know. I don't know. You know, oftentimes you really don't know somebody until you have your first fight sometimes, because then you can kind of see the real heart of that person, you know. I really think that's truly when you really get to know somebody, is when you have your first disagreement, your first thing that y'all don't see eye to eye on, and how do y'all deal with that, you know? How do you go through the process, you know? How do you determine who was at fault or what was the thing at fault? And how do you do it in a way that's loving and has grace and is restorative? Because sometimes we can, you know, think that the only way to correct somebody is to tear them down, but that's not true. You know, sometimes we got to say hard truths, but I don't think hard truths have to tear down so much. Now, if it's false beliefs, you don't have to tear it down. But if it's something like destructive habits, or destructive habits that affects one's health, you know, those are different things. Those you might have to be a little rough with, right? So in a nutshell, that is what I have been up to. And I've thought about doing some more creative things, not necessarily acting, because I haven't thought about that lately, but I mean the voice acting, because I do also want to do like an animation series. So it's really just about sitting down, not being caught up in imposter syndrome, also not doing comparisons, taking a step back and looking at the work and being proud and joyous and happy of the work, not scrutinizing too hard, because the beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? When we look at art in different areas, it's subjective, you know. And for me, my main message that I want to come across is like a holistic living of joy and peace, you know, and love and restoration. And I remember a few years ago, before I started getting paint on canvas, and they said, what's your desire to do art? What's your desire for art? And I said, I want to do art that is restorative. I want to do art that regenerates dying hearts, that gives hope where there's no hope, or hope in hopeless situations, or helps reframe an opinion of something that might have been wrong, or that establishes justice. And I think if I continue to remember that, I think I'll continue on the right track. So that is my update for now, and at some point I will do a showcase or something, or what I probably will do is link to my shop at some point. But for now, I just want to share, you know, I just want to share, you know, my heart and my mind and what's going on. I also, before I forget, I also want to write a devotional book. I had the idea for that last week before last. So there's a lot of endeavors on the table, y'all. There's a lot of endeavors on the table, and I need to like I said, just parse it out, be positive, no comparisons, no imposter syndrome. Let's go with the flow, have a good time with it, and I think I'll be fine. Sometimes we get stagnant because we think that we need a play-by-play of someone else's rules, and we don't. Because think about it, before the internet came about, before we had Google and Bing and AI, you got you whatever that book was that was inspiring to you. You got your typewriter, your computer, whatever. You kept that in mind. That was your little guideline, and you flowed with it, you know. Sometimes the oversaturation of media constantly coming to us can be a blockade, because you'll be too busy trying to do what somebody else did and not doing what you should be doing. And that's what I'm constantly trying to do what I'm supposed to be doing. So on that note, once again, thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me. I have a handful of subscribers. Maybe one day it'll increase, but for now, it's all right. The ones who are watching and the ones who are engaged, it's good enough for me. All right, so you guys take care. And if you have any questions, comments, or you want to see you really want to see what I'm up to, you want to see the product, hit me up in the, write me a little something in the comment section, and I'll get back to you. So, all right, peace.